I'm humbled to be here and also to follow Representative Schroeder. But basically, I have more of a personal story. On July 22nd of 2007, I gave birth to my first child, Cooper, which all of you unfortunately heard this morning. But as with millions of new parents before me, my life and my perspective were forever altered by having my first child. And one of the first challenges I had to face was how to find this balance, how to spend as much time as I could with him before going back to work. Fortunately, I do work for counties, so I qualified to take leave under the Family Medical Leave Act. So when I first found out I was pregnant and inquired about taking that leave, I was frankly surprised to find out that it didn't require any payment whatsoever. And all of my friends who hadn't had children yet didn't realize that either. So we were all surprised by that, actually. And then a lot of my friends said, well, you know, you work for a government agency. You would think maybe a government agency would be proactive and serve as a role model for the private sector. But that didn't happen either. I was permitted to use my annual leave and my sick leave after getting a note from my doctor that I needed time to recuperate from birth, which I thought was somewhat obvious. But in any case, I was able to get some of my 12 weeks of leave paid. But of course, 9 weeks were not paid, and during that time I still had to pay all of my bills, including my huge student loans from law school, on top of all of the new baby-related costs. In the end, I was able to take the full 12 weeks, largely due to a very tragic event in my life, which was the death of my mother from cancer. My mother died 2 days after Christmas in 2006. This was about a month after I told her I was pregnant. She was very excited about our grandson coming on the way. I thought that she might actually hang in there long enough to meet him, but that wasn't to be. However, after she passed away, I was very surprised to discover she had a small life insurance policy, and I was one of the beneficiaries along with my brother. And it was this insurance policy that made it possible for me to stay home and use my leave. So I realized that was the last gift and the best gift I ever got from her. Yet the 12 weeks did go by really fast. When you're trying to get to know your own child, nursing him, holding him, rocking him to sleep, and trying to figure out what soothes him, what kind of person he's going to be, all of that went by extremely fast. And the first day I had to go back to work, I cried 3 times on my way to work. I also discovered how difficult it was and incredibly expensive it was to find childcare for a 12-week-old baby. That's almost impossible to find and to afford. Therefore, my husband, who's a nurse, who's with me here today, quit his job. He stays home with our child during the week while I'm at work, and he works weekends in a new position, and then I stay home alone with the child during the weekends, which is very difficult on us as a family, but it's the way that we've been able to make it work. Adding to all of these difficulties is the fact that I was very aware of all the health benefits of nursing my child. Research suggests that it not only leads to fewer colds and ear infections, which frankly lowers parent absenteeism at work, but could prevent everything from obesity to leukemia. These are some of the things that you hear. So I wanted my son to get all these benefits, but having to go back to work at just 12 weeks made that difficult. So I've been balancing that, and I'm still balancing that. I'm a prosecutor, and I find myself running back during a recess from court to pump or nurse my son in the office and running back to the courtroom. But I'm very lucky because I'm in a position where I'm able to do that. And I know many women who are waitresses and in positions where that's just physically impossible. So in conclusion, I just want to say, despite all the financial, emotional, and logistical challenges I have faced, I have really benefited from the FMLA, and I'm very grateful to the Honorable Pat Schroeder and all other Congress members who passed this very important protection. I was actually a little reluctant to come forward today because I felt that I was very fortunate to be able to work this out the way that I did, and that there were many other workers who are in a much tougher position, people who are working part-time, who therefore don't qualify, or who work for smaller companies, or who just simply can't afford to take any kind of unpaid leave. I would also just like to say that, of course, if I'd had the choice, I would much rather have my mom here. I'd much rather have had her be able to meet my son. But I also recognize what a gift it was that I was able to afford to take my leave, and that she really made that possible for me. And she was a single mom. She worked 2 jobs, and she put herself through school to become a psychologist in order to better all of our futures. So she really, that was her legacy, and I still don't know what kind of legacy I'll leave for my own son, but I just want to say that all of you involved in creating the FMLA and all of those who may seek to change it, you all have a possibility of leaving a legacy as well, and I challenge you to create an even better legacy for the FMLA. Thank you for your time and attention.